सबसे पहली चीज़ तो अब हम वोट बैंक नहीं, वी आर नॉट अ वोट बैंक. We have a mind of our own. We have a mind of our own because we are allowed to think. We are allowed to think. We are getting facilities. We are getting educated. पहले 24 if 24 into 7 you are just thinking of how am I going to collect water? Where am I going to run for water? How do I run for my? How do yes? They have no time. They have no time. So this is in the last 10 years there are changes. We were talking about self-help groups for the longest time. What were we doing with them? Nothing. Skill दे दिया. क्या skill दिया? अचार बनाने का दे दिया. फिर अगले बार आए फिर अचार बनाने का दे दिया. फिर अगले बार आए फिर अचार बनाने का दे दिया. Are you marketing that achar? Are you doing something with that achar? Is there nothing else that she can do? Now today we are giving them different kind of skills, and we are not only giving them skills, we are giving them hearts. Yes, we are giving them woman hearts.
What happened with Ms. Swati Maliwal of the Aam Aadmi Party? What is your take on that?
If a woman inside your own campus is being beaten, how are you going to protect? What are you going to say? And you're giving statements and you're saying things. You should have just said, yes, this has happened and it is terrible, it is wrong. It shouldn't have happened. You can't say that she did this or she said that. We don't care. I'm not interested in what she said or did not say. Did it give you the right to hit her? Did it give you the right to misbehave with her? No.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Statesman Talk with me, Deepti J. Verma. Today we are being joined by the first woman speaker of the Uttarakhand Assembly, Ms. Ritu Khanduri Bhushan. Thank you for joining us, madam.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Let's start with obviously the political, we are in the midst of the biggest political elections this country is seeing. What is your view of the scenario so far?
See, I'm pretty sure that the Prime Minister is going to be coming back again, and he will be sworn in again, third time, and we're pretty happy about it. He has led the country in the last 10 years in an amazing way. He has worked for the country, for the development of the country. He has looked after all the classes, all the of the society. He has impacted everybody in this country. So the way the elections are going, I'm pretty sure on 4th of June, we will hear again that the Prime Minister is going to be sworn in for the third time.
What is it like being the first woman speaker of the assembly? Are you how do people view you? Is your presence taken differently? How are you feeling the experience?
See, if you know Uttarakhand has always had very empowered women. I have seen as a young child, I have seen my grandparents, my grandmothers, maternal as well as paternal, leading the way in the society, whether it is, in the 50s and the 60s or the 70s.
That's the culture of the place?
Yes. It's a women-dominated kind of a society where women look after the house, women look after the agriculture, women look after the economy, and also be a very effective part of the society. समाज के लिए काम करती हैं. So when I say that they look after the house, that means in Uttarakhand we have most of the houses in Uttarakhand, at least one person is in the army. So it is left to this young lady of the house to look, yes, of not only running the house, looking after her in-laws, her children, and she does it pretty well. As a youngster, I remember in the early 70s, I have seen women plowing land. हल चलाते हुए देखा है मैंने महिलाओं को. You must have heard of Gaura Devi, Chipko movement. We talk of environment today. She was talking in the 60s. वो चिपक रही थी पेड़ों से और कह रही थी कि पेड़ नहीं काटना चाहिए. You must have heard of Tinchri Mai. She fought against alcoholism. So we are a state which is empowered. Women are respected. Women are looked up to. But yes, once again, when a small state like Uttarakhand decides that we are going to bring in a woman speaker, it speaks for the culture or the thought process of people of Uttarakhand. I am, of course, very, very grateful to the Prime Minister and also to the party that they decided to bring in first a woman speaker in Uttarakhand. It's a young state. It's only 20 years old, and it's a young state. So taking such a decision was amazing. But I think the culture or the ethos that Uttarakhand has, this was
It
a
was
natural, it was
natural,
natural, it
yeah.
was a natural
Yeah.
progression. So I'm pretty happy about it, and it's a place. It is a responsible post, and I'm trying to run it responsibility, and I do get support of all the people, whether it is my MLAs, both male and female. So it's a great feeling, and I'm very happy that people do support me.
Uttarakhand, as you said, is a young state and it's one of the first states to apply the UCC, the Uniform Civil Code. Take us through that. How has
Uh,
the public received it?
yeah.
What are the pros and cons?
See, I'm very happy that a young state like Uttarakhand decided to bring in the UCC. As I said, it is a natural thing for us. We talk about progress. We, think of development. We have certain principles in the state. So I'm really very happy that our young chief minister decided to take it on. Of course, the inspiration was our Prime Minister Modi. And when we decided to bring it on, a lot of thought has gone into it, a lot of work has gone into it. 2 years of hard work of justice. Chief Justice from the court. Of course, she met a lot of people. There were a lot of discussions, and finally, we came up with this UCC, which was brought into the Vidhan Sabha of Uttarakhand, and then passed. And of course, now it is ratified by the president, so it is a law in Uttarakhand. I think it was necessary. When I look at the Indian society, I see one thing: whichever class you take, rich, poor, middle, upper, whichever caste you take, any caste, any religion, the weakest link is always the woman. So when she is the weakest link, and when UCC talks about giving her her rights, I'm pretty happy. I'm very happy. I have seen in villages of India where if the husband passes away and she does not have a male heir, the property goes to either the brother-in-law or whoever, but not to her. So she's on the roads. So first major decision of UCC in Uttarakhand was that we will give her property rights. If her husband passes away, she will get property rights. So that was a very important decision. Secondly, you also know this, we are an army state. We have, as I told you earlier, every house has at least one in the army. If he passes off or dies in line of duty, the whatever the pension or other benefits go to the wife. Many a times the wife wants to remarry, and there is nothing wrong in it because she's young and she wants to move on in her life. The parents then do not have any financial backing. So the UCC also decided that once she decides to get married, some part of her pension or some part of would also go to the parents. So that was another good thing. Then of course we've asked the live-in relationship, which has created a lot of hoo-ha all over the place. But I am for it. That was another thing which we said needs to be registered. So I'm very happy.
Yeah, that has got a bit of reaction out of
Yes,
people. They think
yes.
that it's infringing on people's
Yeah.
privacy. What do you
Yeah.
think of that?
If you're an 18-year-old and you decide to go and live with somebody, I think then you should own it. Own it up. 21st century, grown up, decided to live in with somebody. Why shouldn't the world know it? Be proud of it. I don't see anything wrong in it. The other side of the story is that in villages, it is very easy. एक हिंदी में शब्द होता है बरगलाना. I don't know what you will say in English. Bargalana. So these young girls, 14-year-old, 15-year-old girls are, they move in with the young boys who come from different states.
You get swayed.
And they get swayed. And they come from different states. And then she is just left high and dry. So we, in Uttarakhand, we are not only looking at it in other ways, but also in trying to protect our young girls who are easily swayed, or who can, who get into such relationships which they may or may
You're saying
not.
that they come from other states?
Of course,
Yeah.
they come from other states. These are young boys or middle-aged men who come from other states, and it is easy because we are still naive, simple. 13, 14, 15-year-old in पहाड़ के परिपेक्ष में अगर आप देखेंगे तो वो बहुत सीधी है, simple है, and it is easy for people to fool her. So that was another reason why we decided that registration is extremely important. And as I said, 21st century, 18-year-old, you want to live with somebody, you're welcome. We are not saying no.
Someone earlier on our podcast had said that this data will be used to determine if they are in interreligious relationships, and then it'll be used against them.
See, it is just a way of saying it is easy for people sitting in Delhi collecting data and talking about these things. I just do not agree with it.
So you think it's primarily for women's safety?
For women's safety, for protecting women. Abhi bhi, even in today's 21st century India, anything happening wrong, it is said ki wo ladki, the woman, she did something, she must have done something. So I think we are basically trying to protect the woman of Uttarakhand, and I'm pretty happy that this clause was brought in. And at least it is open for discussion. Let's discuss it. And if you want to make certain amendments, the acts can be amended. At least we're discussing it. At least we're talking about it. Even today, there are 14-year-old girls who get married. The minute they start their periods or their menstruation, it is said that she's ready for marriage. Now, at least, these things are coming out in open. We are talking about it. We're discussing. समाज तो बहता पानी है भाई. आज आपको ये नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. Discuss it.
Work in progress.
We will again do something about it. And amendments are nothing new to this country. So we should not say this is the end of it. But
so far, people have taken to the USCC.
They're pretty happy. When I meet and talk to women, they're very happy about it. Particularly, property rights and rights to decide whether they want to get married, whether they want to get a divorce.
What is the demographic makeup of the state?
50%, almost 50% is women in Uttarakhand.
And religion-wise?
Religion-wise, we do have the Muslims also, certain very small percentage, which is
mostly Hindus.
Mostly Hindus, a small percentage of other castes, very, very small percentage. But we've had them for the longest time. Muslims in Uttarakhand were there for the longest time. They speak our language. They, they are like us. They're like us. They're like us. They're no different from us. But what we are trying to do is protect people who are coming in from outside, bringing in different kind of influences, which as Uttarakhandi I feel is not right for our state. So we are trying to protect our ethos. We are trying to protect our youngsters, our people, our principles, our thought processes. So I think that is what we are trying to do with this.
Speaking of women's safety, recently what happened with Ms. Swati Maliwal of the Aam Aadmi Party, what is your take on that as a woman politician?
It is very sad. Something like this happening in a chief minister's residence.
Do you think it can happen without his knowledge?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. And if it, anything, even if she had provoked, even if she had done whatever you have no business misbehaving with her, beating her, hitting her, and happening at a place where it is expected that you are looking after other women of the state. What are you going to do with the other women? If a woman inside your own campus is being beaten, how are you going to protect? What are you going to say? And you're giving statements and you're, saying things. You should have just said, yes, this has happened and it is terrible, it is wrong. It shouldn't have happened. You can't say that she did this or she said that. We don't care. I'm not interested in what she said or did not say. Did it give you the right to hit her? Did it give you the right to misbehave with her? No. You could have sat down with her, you could have talked to her, whatever. But nothing gives you the right to beat a woman. And that too in a place where we supposedly say women should have been the safest.
Yes, the safest.
Should have been the safest. So it's really, really sad. And if this is happening to a empowered, educated MP, then what is going to happen to the people who do not have that kind of power or education? Very sad, very sad.
Starting your journey, your father was once the chief minister of the Uttarakhand. Where did your political journey start? How did it start and how has it evolved?
I was basically, my father started as an army officer. He retired from the army. So I've had that upbringing. Which is
quite
fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
I traveled in different parts of the country.
I traveled the country. I've studied in various schools. So
Army kids have a different
yes.
air and a
Yes.
different confidence.
Yes,
in
we
they-
amongst the army kids, we say you can make out ये army
Yeah.
का बच्चा है कि
Yeah.
civil वाला
They have
बच्चा.
a different confidence
Yes,
about them.
yes, they are a little different. They are a little different. I think it's the upbringing, and it's all the same. We all
Yeah.
sit and laugh when we talk about things happening in each household. They're so similar. They're so same. So yes, that was one big advantage I had. When my father fought the last election, I was completely out of the political scenario.
What did you do then?
I did my MA, BA, and then I got married and I went off to Bihar. My husband
He's an IS officer.
was, and he's just retired.
Okay.
He was Bihar cadre IS officer until he retired as Health Secretary, Government of India. So I went off to Bihar, and there, since I think that army blood was there, I started working with young girls, officers, with their daughters and with their wives. And I think in the early 90s, Bihar was still a little conservative vis-a-vis women. So I decided to bring them out. So that is how I started. We made a club and things like that. I started teaching in Bihar. 2000 I came to Delhi, and then I got an opportunity to teach in Amity University. So I started teaching in 2006.
What were you teaching?
History.
History.
So till 2017, when I fought my first election. When my father was fighting his last election, 14, my mother could not go. She was the one who used to always be with him during elections. My brother was abroad, and I was in Bihar. And since I was a government servant's wife, he would avoid. He would say, "You stay away from all this." But since when he fought his last election, my mother could not go with him because she broke her hip, and then she could not travel with him. And he had already lost election in Kotwar, and there was this big, talk of the town that the family was not there, and we were not there. Because my mother used to go, we were not involved, neither my brother nor me. So they said the family did not even bother to come, and, so this time we decided that
Somebody
that was-
should
yes.
represent.
So I went, and I happened to get an opportunity to travel entire Garhwal constituency, which is his constituency. He was MP from Garhwal. And I suddenly realized I could do a lot in the
Women's space?
women's space. I could do a lot there. So once the elections were over, my father won, I went back. I had this my father's qualis, ek main usme, and one young boy I said, and one driver, and I said, let's see what we can do. And then I started traveling, and usi samay this Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao had also started. So I started going to various schools and having these competitions where we would say, the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao would be the topic, and then they would either we would have a debating competition or drawing competitions, and then I started working with women. I had women who were into agriculture, and there were अब millets की बात हम लोग करते हैं, but I'm talking of 2014-15. So they used to grow this jhangora, which is a very Uttarakhand grain. So ragi. So I said, if I buy it off you, and would you sell it to me? They said yes. So I said, all right. So I started buying, and then I used to come to these college
Fairs.
Yes, to the college fairs. I used to come to the college melas, not anywhere else. And then I would sell that product. And we would sit as an NGO. I would sit there because I had an NGO. I have an NGO which works with AIMS Trauma Center Delhi and AIMS Rishikesh. So I started doing that. And in between, I think because I was traveling Garhwal and I was general's daughter, so obviously the BJP Karyakarta would come and meet me and see me. And then suddenly I think I'm sure they did, not a maybe. They saw something in me, some merit in me, something in me. And then they decided to give me the ticket from MLA ticket from Yamkeshwar.
This was 2014.
No, this was 2017.
2017.
14, my father fought as an MP. So that's how I got to know the entire constituency. And 2017, they said, and I won. Having no knowledge.
Bye-bye Bihar.
Bye-bye Bihar. I was in Delhi and I had no knowledge about politics. I had no field knowledge, nothing. But it was a learning experience for me. 2017 to 22.
How was it different after you won? What you were doing before?
Yes, very different.
Very different.
When I used to go as a
volunteer
or an NGO person, I was, of course, allowed to come into the DM's office because I was so-and-so's wife or so-and-so's daughter. I would get a cup of tea, but nothing would be done. Nothing. Nothing.
Now you had agency.
Now I had the power. Now I could make a difference.
Change.
I could now, whether they liked my idea or did not like my idea, I could get it done. So that was the big difference which I saw. As a common person, it was not so easy. I did it. I did it on my own. But now suddenly I ran into power. I could do what I wanted to do for women, for children, for education, for health. At least I was listened to, and if the idea was good enough, then I could see
Implemented.
it being implemented. So there was a big difference.
What all did you do during this term?
My 2014, 17 to, of course, before I won, I did a Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. I worked with various, I adopted a village. I used to travel. So that was one thing. But once I became MLA, then, of course, there were lots of things I could do. I could start looking at self-help groups where we decided that we will have to give them some kind of skill so that they get empowered. Then a very interesting fact which I talk about everywhere is during my father's time it was decided to that Jilla Panchayat Chunav we will give 50% reservation to women. So BJP decided that and it was done. So when I went in 2017 and I used to travel the villages, I had this young gentleman sitting next to me. I said, "Who are you?" Because I also was clueless. I said, "Who are you?" He says, "I'm Pradhan Pati." I said, "What is Pradhan Pati?" I had no clue
It's
what a
similar to
Pradhan.
that show Panchayat. That's what happens.
I didn't know what Pradhan Pati was. I said, "What is Pradhan Pati?" And then when I figured out, I said, "Now onwards,
They're just proxy.
No Pati,
Yeah.
no Pita, no is going to sit next to me. Let the woman sit next to
come.
me." She has won the seat. The reservation was for her.
Yeah.
She needs to learn. She needs to get empowered. And I'm telling you, Dipti, at the end of my tenure in 2022, I was so pleased. I had
That those women found their voice.
Yes. I said, hum bhi darte hain. Even today, if I have to go up and speak in front of some big leader, you do get butterflies.
Nervous, yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. Read it out. I told them, अगर आपको डर लगता है आप कागज लाओ पढ़ो. Out of many, some would read out. Others were confident enough to come and speak about their village, demand for their village.
That's amazing.
So that was a big change. Then I was very happy when the DMs of the district also said, we will not allow patis and the pitas to sit. Let the whoever has won the election, whoever is the pradhan, come. So even inside the meeting halls. So once you're thrown into something,
The room changed.
yes,
Yeah.
the room changed, and when you're thrown into something, women are very good. They just grab the opportunity, and then there was so much of change. And today in Uttarakhand, we have so many mayors, so many Jilla Panchayat Adhyakshas, and BDC members, pradhans. So there is a change you see in the
There's a change
society.
that happening.
Yes, yes.
And safety-wise, how is it?
It's
Compared to other states?
Compared to other states, it's
Much better.
It's very safe. It's very, very safe. Traveling is not an issue for the. It is pretty safe. I have traveled alone for a long time, and it's a safe place. There's no issue as such.
What do you think, considering it's a young state, for the next 5 years, what are your dreams for the state? What do you think that the state should accomplish?
See, we would like it to develop further. Infrastructure-wise, we are. In the last so many years, we have seen, whether it was during Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji's time, when my father was the road minister, it was then that the roads were made in Uttarakhand. Of course, there were older roads, but the kind of roads a state should have. It was Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji who decided that we will give PMGSY, Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana. So the villages were connected. Then, of course, now you see Char Dham, all where the roads have come up. Khanduri rail line is coming up. For the longest time, people of Uttarakhand were demanding this train right up to Khanduri, and now it has
So
come
getting
up.
statehood gives a state better chances at these things?
Obviously, because when we were part of UP, we were just a part of UP, a corner of UP. Now, since you're a state, obviously you have a chief minister, you have a voice, you come to Delhi, you ask for your rights, you demand your rights, you have your own budget.
Yeah.
So yes, there are a lot of things. I would like to see Uttarakhand developing into a huge tourism.
Speaking of that, we were earlier talking, there are also perils of that. Like if it's overtly touristy, sometimes the state cannot take it, like ecologically.
Yeah.
So how would you address that?
See, we have to understand, there is a two side to each story. We
Yeah.
have to understand that it is extremely important that Uttarakhand develops for the economy of the state, for the people of the state, but at the same time, we need to protect our ecology, environment. And as I've telling you, Uttarakhand has been doing it. 40% of our state is forest.
Yeah.
So it's not that we are not aware of it or we are not trying to protect our environment. We are. There are technologies and there are ways of doing things. Even if you want to cut a road today, or if you want to make a bridge today, or if you want to make a ropeway today, there is technology where you can protect your environment, but at the same time give people of Uttarakhand whatever is rightful
so when you
to
give
them.
tenders, are you going to take that into account? Whoever
Of
comes up
course,
with the
of
most
course.
eco-friendly solution?
See, it is not so easy because eco-friendly solution is extremely expensive.
Yeah.
Very, very expensive. It is not cheap. But yes, at least we are now thinking about it. We are working
At least
on
the
it.
conversations
are
started.
happening. Yes, we are talking about it. So yes, there is a pro and a con to every situation. But we would like to see Uttarakhand developing, whether it is religious tourism, adventurous tourism, whatever. We would, because for the benefit of the people whom we want to continue staying in villages, continue staying. Palayan is a major issue for Uttarakhand. If we want our people to continue stay in areas, then we will have to also look at how we can help them, economically, because economics is. It is all about economics. आपको पैसा तो चाहिए wherever you are. So I hope to see a balance where we have a state which is developing but also protecting the environment.
But what kind of a request would you make of tourists who come to the state?
My first request would be that please be aware of where you're coming. Not only, if you're coming to Uttarakhand, you must be very careful of what you are using, how much are you using. If you come into the land of Gangaji, are you protecting Gangaji or not? Change your thought processes. You will have to, now there is
Do
this,
with little.
There
Pack
are,
little,
yeah, there
bring
is
little.
this concept of going to Gaumukh, जहाँ से गंगा जी निकलती हैं. आप अपने वहाँ पुराने कपड़े छोड़ के आ जाइए, नए कपड़े पहन के आ जाइए. Now there are mounds and mounds of clothes lying there.
Yeah.
What is the need?
Yeah.
अपना मन साफ करके आओ तो एक बात समझ में आए. What is it that you want to do by leaving your shoes, your belt, your coat, your chappal, everything? So people will have to rethink. It is, see, the governments do. It is, governments try extremely hard, but there has to be, people have to be aware. They have to be strict with themselves. Yes. Now the other day I was sitting at a Ganga Aarti and there was the announcer, poor thing, he was announcing, Ganga ji mein botal mat daliye, aur usi samay wahan se plastic ki botal behti hui gayi. It was so sad. It was so sad. So we have to also understand what are we doing with our...
Can we ban plastic in the state?
We have, but see, it is not only people of Uttarakhand who have to protect Uttarakhand. It is also these country, people who are coming into Uttarakhand. They will have to see. एक vision इनको समझना होगा, एक सोच रखनी होगी that if you can't protect Uttarakhand, then how are you going to protect the environment? These are your breathing areas, breathing spaces. यही तो है, 40% जंगल हमारे पास है. And we are doing it for the country. We are trying to protect the environment. We are protecting the forests in spite of various issues vis-a-vis the forest. People face a lot of tough life. It is tough to be part and protecting your environment.
For sure, yeah. It's
So
easier to live in cities.
It is very easy. It is very easy to sit in Delhi and say बाघ बचाओ, है ना? It is very easy. यहाँ से बैठ के आप लोग कहते हैं tiger बचाओ. Great. But what about the woman who has just lost her son to the tiger?
That's true.
We have to understand that. You tell her no roads for you. Why? Why does she still have to travel? Why does the dolly have to go? She still have to travel by dolly, or her gas cylinder she has to travel 1.5 kilometers.
Yeah.
So you have to you have to understand, if we need to protect our environment, Uttarakhand is doing what it is doing. Uttarakhand, the people are doing what they're doing, but people outside Uttarakhand will also have to figure out what they are doing. Don't bring in trash, don't carry trash. Kahin dikhta hai, clean, keep Uttarakhand clean. So we have to somehow inform or maybe give a lot of information to people, and people will have to assimilate that information. जैसे the Prime Minister is able to do that. He आजकल स्वच्छता अभियान,
Yeah.
you talk to a small 5-year-old, he will not let you throw a paper outside.
That's true.
So that is something
The
which has
training
become a sanskar.
is
It has
become
become a habit.
Yeah.
It has become a habit. Now we will have to start training our people.
Or unlearning what
Yes.
we have learned. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is easy कि plastic bottles खरीद लो, पानी पी लो, वहीं फेंक दो. Carry your things, Ganga Jal is carried in plastic. So we'll have to. There is
How are you taking steps for waste disposal in this area?
there are a lot of ways which we are doing. It is not easy. It is pretty tough because we have these 2-tier cities which are coming, and of course there are cities right next to Ganga Ji. So a lot of things have been done, whether it is the STPs, the sewage treatment plants that have come up, or whether it is banning this factory muck going into our rivers, whether it is these toilets which have come up. So a lot of things are being done, but there is lots to be done, and I feel governments do. We do try to do a lot of good things.
But it's a lot of
but
citizen-led.
yes,
Yeah.
so the
Citizen-led
everybody.
movements, yeah.
So the stakeholders, everybody will have to sit together, and we need to protect our country. We need to protect our environment, and we have to sit and think, sit down together, and then think over it, and then decide on what we need to do. Haphazard nahi ho sakta. It can't be haphazard. So we, as a state, we are doing a lot,
Yeah.
and we are hoping that slowly we'll be able to. With the chalan, chalaning is the only
Taxing,
way.
yeah,
That is the
fining
only
people is the
way
only
how
way.
you can, at least try and stop it. So we are trying and hoping that people will also follow in.
And what is the general view towards BJP in the state?
See,
And
I
vis-a-vis the
would,
India
as a
bloc?
speaker, not that I can say much
Yeah.
politically, but as a speaker, one thing I have noticed, I am also an MLA from Kotdwar, there is a connect with at least women of Uttarakhand. I can speak so much for that.
Why is
because-
that? More,
See,
why is it more with
in the last 70 years, 60 years or something, we were still looking for toilets. 21st century, if I'm still talking about a toilet,
Yeah,
it is sad.
it's sad.
I am unable to give her the 4,000 rupees ka gas ka chula. She still has to go to the jungle. Why? Why do we have no roads? Why is it that she's not a voice? She was till recently. The last 10 years she was just vote bank. No one would hear us. Our voices were not heard. I keep hearing this also when women say, first time in so many years,
It's the BJP
people, the power brokers in Delhi have heard our voices. So, I mean, it is good time for women in India. At least we are being heard. At least people are thinking about us. At least we are getting positions, places, infrastructure. Can you imagine how difficult it must have been for women who could not go to the toilet since morning to evening?
You try doing it for one day.
You try and do it for one day and go, and then what about water?
Yeah.
There is an interesting story which I tell everywhere. When I first fought my election in 2017, a young college girl was standing in the corner in a village, and she, of course, was not coming to meet us. The young 17-year-old, I knew she would not come. So as I was the candidate, I went to her. I said, "Beta, pani pilao." She says, "Nahi pilaungi." And for me, I was taken aback. In India, pani chai is nothing.
Yeah.
You just come and say, "Ha,
Yeah.
pani pijiye, chai pijiye."
Yeah.
So I think we were 15, 20 of us, and of course the Karyakartas were there, and we were taken aback. She had said what she had to say, and we were
What did she
speechless.
say?
Now I'm going to tell you what she wanted to tell me. And she was really smart. She also realized. Then she says, "Acha, आप पानी पियेंगे?" I said, "हाँ." She says, "चलिए 6 किलोमीटर दूर पर एक हैंड पंप है, उसको भरेंगे, लेकर आएंगे, तब मैं आपको एक लोटा पानी दूंगी." So in those 3 lines, she has told
She
me
summed up
what
her
her
life,
mother
yeah.
had to do 24/7. Every day, 24 hours, पानी संजो के रखना. Now, if the Prime Minister is giving me toilet, he's giving me gas, he's giving me water, he's giving me health, He's giving me health.
Yeah.
He's giving me education. What is it? Why won't I connect?
That's true.
And in today's first in so many years, I realize what we say we do. Whatever I say in Kotdwar, it is implemented, whether it is government of Uttarakhand which does it or whether it is government of India. I see it happening on the
But do you think
ground.
that's because of the synergy between center and state, and where it doesn't exist, it's more problematic?
I don't think so. It all depends on what your government
think-
wants to do.
Yeah.
What your government wants to do. It has nothing to do with, of course, it helps. It definitely helps in getting more projects and, it helps you. But there is no different. It depends on the leadership. It depends on how the leaders decide to lead the state. So in today's Uttarakhand, in today's times, I see that connect. The minute we start talking about the Prime Minister or we say Modi ji, they're ready to listen to what new. What next?
What
We were
next?
talking about self-help groups for the longest time. What were we doing with them? Nothing. स्किल दे दिया, क्या स्किल दिया? अचार बनाने का दे दिया. फिर अगले बार आए फिर अचार बनाने का दे दिया. फिर अगले बार आए फिर अचार बनाने का दे दिया. Are you marketing that achar? Are you doing something with that achar? Is there nothing else that she can do? Now today we are giving them different kind of skills, and we are not only giving them skills,
Are you
we
also
are giving
selling
them
it for them?
hearts. Yes, we are giving them woman hearts. We are marketing them. We are picking up their stuff. You can see them in Delhi. You can see them in various fairs, whether it is
What
Surajkand or
is the channel like? How do you do it?
It is through self-help groups. These
Okay.
are groups which are first
Volunteers?
No, they are registered. These are women from villages
Okay.
who form a group of 7 to 8
And then
women.
the government sells it for them?
Sometimes what we are trying to do is hand holding is continuing. We have these growth centers where we first train, like in Kotdwar I have started a process where we are making bags. Now whether it's a cloth bag or a jute bag,
Okay.
we ask people or departments to buy back.
Okay.
So we are hand holding at the moment, but there are organizations, there are women even in Kotdwar who are selling on their own, whether it is the candles,
Now they can sell
whether it's
online
the soap,
also.
yes, online, whether it is Appen products. So there is a difference. There is a difference in how
And
things
do
are
the
happening.
women-led businesses get funding from the
Yes,
government?
of course. The
Loans
government
from
is,
the government?
yes, easily now 1 lakh of loan is easily available. If women want to go in there, whether it's the self-help groups or individually, loans are available for women. So that's what I'm saying. For the first time in so many years,
women lives have
yes,
changed.
yeah, things are changing slowly, but they're changing. Now this was basic. Just a toilet or a gas ka chula was basic,
That's true.
for which they were struggling for years. So if somebody in Delhi, sitting in Delhi, can think about these things, it makes a difference. It may not, you may not understand, but she understands. When during Corona, the Prime Minister decided to give 1,500 rupees to women, there was a lot of ha hoo hoo here in Delhi. Your cup of coffee may cost you 500 rupees, understood, in a Starbucks. But when you go to the villages, she will run 2 weeks of her household.
Ration.
Yes,
For
for
that
that 500 rupees.
Yeah.
So that is the thing. There is a lot of
Sensitivity
to
towards-
women, to women issues, to what can we do for them to improve their life. सबसे पहली चीज तो अब हम वोट बैंक नहीं, we are not a vote bank.
Yeah.
We
You're
have a
equal
mind of our
citizens,
own.
yeah.
We have a mind of our own because
You're
we are allowed to
stakeholders.
think. We are allowed to think. We are getting facilities. We are getting educated. पहले 24/7 you are just thinking of how am I going to collect water? Where am I going to run for water? How do I run
So
for
how
my?
do you think bigger things,
Yes,
yeah.
they have no time. They have no time. So this is in the last 10 years there are
And in
changes.
education? What is the change?
Education, slowly things are improving. Of course, government schools in Uttarakhand are good. Teachers are very good. Private schools, of course, Uttarakhand is known for its education, school education particularly. We have good
All
education.
the boarding schools come under Uttarakhand?
No. Private
private
schools are
schools are-
private.
yeah.
We have government schools. Government schools, there are issues of infrastructure, but people are working on it. And we do have good government schools also, where kids are coming out of schools and doing well. Of course, lots can be done. It's not that everything has been done.
And this one member going to the army, it continues this?
It still
culture?
continues.
Yeah.
It still continues. That tradition is still there. That is one job opportunity, and of course the pride in being in the army, that still continues, because we have generations of people going into the army, so it still continues.
That's pretty amazing. And what about you? What are your plans for the next 5 years for yourself personally?
Personally, no plans.
No.
But yes, I hope to do well in the position that I have been given. I'm blessed that I am the Speaker of Uttarakhand, and I want to do it right. I want to do it in the correct manner, do it the way I should be doing it, because it's a position which, it's a constitutional position, so I have to be very careful on how I do justice, how I conduct myself, how I do justice to my job, be very neutral, and at the same time help in whatever way I can for the betterment of Uttarakhand. I would like to see my constituency do better. I would like to see more development in my own constituency. So yes, at the moment, I think
Continue what you're
personal ambitions none. Political, just to see India flourish, India fly high, and Uttarakhand do very well. And my own constituency should also develop. That is what I hope for.
Perfect. Thank you for your time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dipti. Thank you.
If you like the episode, please don't forget to share it, and also like, share, and subscribe to all our socials. They're all listed below.